What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Kinda Punch Boxing News, and this video is about Errol Spence. Errol Spence, he fights Ocampo coming soon, and Ocampo's taller. That should be a very interesting fight. I look forward to that fight. I want to see Errol Spence again. He did a great performance against Lamont Peterson. Stellar performance, very strong, hard, aggressive combinations, ripping to the body, by Errol Spence. Errol Spence kind of reminds me of Felix Trinidad in a sense, the way he moves forward and thrusts forward. He's a lot more aggressive at times, and better punch variety. Because, Trinidad had a decent right, but he had a devastating left hook. But for the most part, he was a one-sided fighter. Errol Spence, has power in both hands. So I look forward to seeing what he can do come Saturday. But this video is to discuss his remarks that he made, stating that he is the boogeyman of the welterweight division. I wouldn't necessarily agree with that. Let me counterpunch that. Because let me say that he was the boogeyman. He was the most avoided fighter in the welterweight division, before or after he got the his belt, before he got that strap, and and that IBF strap, he got it, and then he's still having problems getting marquee fighters in there with him. This is true. However, I'm going to say this about Spence, like I've said about many other fighters. You can't claim that you're avoided. Sure, you can say you're avoided by certain fighters, but you can't say you're avoided overall, because Errol Spence has met his match with Terence Crawford. He had a problem finding a marquee fighter that defines him until Terence Crawford comes to the division, and Terence Crawford is there. I just wish the fight with him and Horn would have happened already, but Crawford is by far the most skilled fighter and pound for pound fighter that we have, and he called out the boogeyman, so to speak. So he can't really say that, hey, I'm the most avoided. He's one of the avoided right now. But if someone's calling you out, and Terence Crawford has called out Spence, so I would really just stay cool with the remarks and see what happens with Terence, with Jeff Horn. Because if he rips right through Jeff Horn, knocks Jeff Horn out in 6 rounds, right? Which I think Jeff Horn is going to be a good fight, because Jeff Horn took a lot of punishment from Pacquiao. So, I'm just so curious to see what the punch variety that Terence Crawford puts on him. But it's going to be an overall good fight, because I hate to see one-sided fights. First of all, you know what I mean? Because those are just boring. They're boring, and boxing is full of them. Because boxing is full of corruption. So you'll got a guy that they'll put a guy in there that has no damn business being in there. But Jeff Horn did show that he was crafty enough to be with Pacquiao and to last 12 rounds and pulled off a decision, right? So, but back to Spence and Crawford. Crawford called out Spence, so Crawford is going, and he's looking to do what he did at 140. Now, if he does that at 147, he will be a Hall of Famer. He's already a Hall of Famer, because he's did something in the 140-pound division that hasn't been done in a long time. Okay, so take it for what it is. But but Earl Spence saying, hey, yeah, I'm the boogeyman in the division. You're a boogeyman for a limited time, just like Golovkin was. Golovkin is no longer a boogeyman. Golovkin has people calling him out left and right, but Golovkin has always had people calling him out. He's just, I don't see how people avoid, hey, I'm unavoided. Nobody wants to fight me. I'll fight you. Yeah, nobody wants to fight me. I'll fight you. But then you don't hear the call out. You don't hear, you have no remarks for the person that called you out. You know what I mean? So But no, Errol Spence, he does have a point to a certain degree, though, because, Sean Porter don't want none. Keith Thurman certainly don't want none. Amir Khan, Amir Khan, he's the type of dude. I would love to see that fight. I don't think Amir Khan's chin will hold up. If he had a good chin, that would be a totally different fight. I would love to see that fight, though. And I know Spence would want that because, it generates a lot of money coming from Khan, because Khan brings in the revenue, But you got guys running left and right from Spence. But it's that one guy that could foil it all. So it all comes down to who wants it, who has the balls to get in there with Errol Spence. Because to be great, you're going to have to understand, like Terence Crawford dares to be great. Okay? So Errol Spence is a dude that you're going to eventually have to fight. That's why Sean Porter will never be great. That's why Keith Thurman will never be great. That's why these guys, they will be belt holders. But, that's why Danny Garcia will never be great. Because these dudes will never fight the guys that they need to fight. Not everybody can be like Mayweather. And the only really reason Mayweather, not to just lay on Mayweather, but to mention him, the only reason that he got where he was because of the things that he's already done. His residual work that he's done when he was Pretty Boy, is the reason why he can boast and pick fights and shit like that, like he did later on in his career, because of the things that he's already done in the sport. Okay, but Keith Thurman, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia, they haven't done those type things. So Errol Spence is that dude to be reckoned with. So by default, yes and no. He's avoided in the welterweight division, but at least one guy has called him out. You know what I mean? So as long as you got a guy that keeps putting your name in his mouth, you are not avoided. But I look forward to seeing both of these fights, Spence Ocampo, Horn and Crawford, and hopefully these guys eventually, that's the only fight that will be made, because these are only the two guys that have the balls. Like, look at Lamont Peterson. Lamont Peterson was also a guy, he didn't lack skill, but he lacked a lot of other things in other categories. You know what I'm saying? He was a smaller welterweight coming from 140. You could argue that, hey, Spence came from 140, but, Spence is no Lamont Peterson. You know what I mean? And I think Peterson just fought the wrong game plan, just bottom line, but it's going to take guys with that type of mentality to be great. So we will see a great fight one day if these guys get past these other two opponents, because you can't look past any opponent. History has taught us that. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Errol Spence being the boogeyman or not. Please leave your concerns, comments below. And once again, you guys been counterpunched. Please subscribe.